Welcome back to this week's edition of Eagle Talk. I'm here with
Austin Chappell.
Aiden Lewandowski.
and Brady Cook, and we're talking about college football. So first, we want to talk about the national championship contenders.
I think you have to put Ohio State up there immediately. I mean, obviously, number one team right now. They got a big win over Texas immediately, and they've got experience. They've got weapons outside. I do have a little bit of faith in Julian Saint at quarterback. I know he struggled a little bit, and he's been, he's still a redshirt freshman, but I have a lot of faith in Ohio State just because of the experience. I think they've been there, they've done that. They've got a relatively same group. Jeremiah Smith is obviously a prolific player on the outside. And then I might be a little bit biased, but I'm going to put Bama up there. I think Bama's been tested the most out of any team in college football. They've got 3 ranked wins against SEC teams, 2 on the road, 1 against a top 10 team in Georgia, top 5 when they played them. And then also Vanderbilt's not a joke either. They've got one of the best offenses in college football. And they're a very motivated group. I think that's important. And then also Missouri on the road. Missouri's a legit team. They've got a good quarterback. I think Bo Perbula is an excellent quarterback. He, obviously had a bad game. And then they were able to stop the run with Ahmad Hardy, hold him to, a pretty poor game. So I think their defense has played excellent. And then I think they've got the Heisman frontrunner in Ty Simpson. I think Alabama's up there as well.
See, I'm going to have to disagree with the Heisman frontrunner. I definitely am going to go with Indiana and Fernando Mendoza.
I can see that too. I like that.
I mean, they beat Illinois, a ranked team, by 60 points. Mm-hmm. They beat Oregon and Autzen, Oregon, which is a crazy ranked win. Fernando Mendoza's offense, they look dominant.
They're very balanced. I think they have an excellent running game, and I think their passing game is really good as well.
And I also think that Indiana arguably has the best coach in the country.
Yeah.
To go from a perfect season with James Madison to then I don't know if it was perfect, but it was very close.
I think they went.
I think they went
like 14-2, and they've won a national championship in their division.
To go to Indiana, who was at the bottom of the rankings in the Big Ten for literally years, change them from year one, go to a playoff is ridiculous to me. Mm-hmm. And everyone said they were fraudulent last year if they lost to Notre Dame. But Notre Dame's only 2 losses were NIU, which was a very bad loss. But then it was Ohio State in the national championship.
Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So Indiana's definitely not a fraudulent group. Fernando Mendoza, he's built for the moment. Kurt Signetti's built for the moment. And I just think this team is very balanced and very explosive.
I like the Indiana take. I think that win in Autzen against Oregon is by far the best win so far.
I think it's by far the best win of the season.
I don't think, because Oregon, I still think Oregon's legit. I have a lot of faith in Dante Moore. He played a little rough, but I still have a lot of faith. That offense, their receivers, they're explosive. I think that's a hard place to play too. I mean,
one of Dante Moore's picks in the game was obviously bad at the line. Tipped up in the air, and then Indiana intercepted that. So, I mean, if you want to get into that, I don't know if it would have been intercepted without that, or obviously not. But when it mattered most, he did throw an interception, which is obviously that's a scary. You can't make that up for that. That it was a comeback route. Indiana jumped the route. Anyway, Dante Moore, their offense is ridiculous. They're a juggernaut of a team. They put up like 70 points in like 3 weeks in a row to begin the season. Their receivers.
Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State has sucked,
it was
but
crazy.
They're a Division I school. Yeah. They made them look silly. I'm not gonna lie.
DeCorian Moore's nice. All the receivers are nice. Mekhi Hughes is a running back. I'm pretty sure that's his name. Yeah. He's nice.
They play like 3 different running backs, and they're all good.
They're all good. And Dan Lanning, he's a very down-to-earth guy. He's a very, very young coach, and I think he also has just a great environment and mentality with this program.
I think I need to see Dante Moore play better before
against a good team.
Yeah.
Against a good defense.
And I would say he had a good game against Penn State, but is Penn State really a good team? They're 3-3. They've lost to I think are the 2 worst teams in the Big Ten. I'd put UCLA now above that. I think since they got their new coach and their new offensive coordinator especially, they have been excellent. They scored 38 and 42.
But their defense has been terrible.
Their
defense gave up 40 points at Penn State. Mm-hmm. Their defense gave up a bunch of points to Michigan State.
Oh, they only scored 13.
Okay.
It was 38-13.
It was only 13.
It was 38-13.
Okay, never mind. So,
although I will, you can probably attribute that to the fact that Aiden Childs got hurt early in the game, and obviously now you're dealing with a backup quarterback that is probably going to affect your offense in the long run. So, I still think Oregon's legit. I do need to see them play a good team. I don't believe they play Ohio State this year.
Ohio State, Indiana, both don't play a ranked team for us
Yeah.
this season. I do think they both have UCLA on their schedule, and UCLA does look scary. They're undefeated in Big Ten play after starting off the season 0-3 or 0-4, I think it was. But back-to-back wins for UCLA. Nico Yamaleva is starting to look like Lamar Jackson.
He looks good.
He looks good. Their new offensive coordinator. He's young. He's fun. He's energetic. And every time I put on the UCLA game, they're moving the ball, on the ball on the field,
for sure.
and they look nice.
They look
good.
motivated. I think it's a coaching change can be a culture change as well. I think a coaching change can be a culture change. And I think the culture has really shifted within that program. I think their new coach has brought in energy. They seem energized. The first 4 games, they seem like they didn't want to be there. They lost to what? They got killed by New Mexico State.
Utah.
Yeah. But it's losses like that where it's like, okay, this team could potentially go 0-12 because now you're looking at a tough Big Ten schedule. They're 2-0 in conference play.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, both conference games were against weaker opponents.
Right, for sure. But I'd say.
But they're still.
Who do they play? Like upcoming weeks?
I think they do play Ohio State.
I know they play Ohio State for sure.
I do think they play Indiana.
I mean, that'll obviously be a big test for you.
I think that's 2 losses.
I mean, yeah,
I agree. It probably is 2 losses. But then again, going from firing your coach in the first half of the season to then bouncing back to be, at the time, who was a ranked Penn State game in Penn State. Or no, they were home against Penn State. Sorry about that. But it shows measures of how far they've come and how a program can change within literally days or weeks.
Yeah, I still think Ohio State is winning the Big Ten. I just think they have so much talent.
I can
and
see that, yeah.
Jeremiah Smith, I think he's going to start performing better. And I think Ohio State is too good to not win the Big Ten.
The Big Ten shifted to top 2 now, right? Because of how many teams they have, right?
Yeah.
So it's not East-West anymore, right? Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt it'll be Ohio State and Indiana. Either of them don't play ranked teams, like you said. I don't think either of them lose a game. I think they both go 12-0.
I do think Ohio State loses to Michigan. Call it bias.
I don't.
I'd call it bias.
That's a little biased.
Sharon Moore has Ryan Day's number, and it's clear to me.
Where's the game
It's a game at the Big House, right?
At the Big House. It's been 3 years in a row where Michigan's beat them. Three of which are by Sharon Moore. Last year they didn't have a quarterback in Davis Warren. Year before that, Sharon Moore was just an interim coach after a huge scandal. But the players were bought in. I will give them that. This year, better quarterback, better offense. I will say a worse defense, but
For sure.
Yeah.
But Julian Saint also doesn't look like Will Howard did last year.
I think Julian Sayin and Jeremiah Smith, they can abuse Michigan. The pass defense is horrible.
This is the same secondary they had last year, except
It
better.
hasn't been good.
It's better than last year's.
I don't know.
I think the biggest weakness of Michigan is their wide receivers, and I'll stand by that. I think that's their biggest weakness. They've got a good run game. They've got arguably the best running back in the country.
Best, not arguably.
They've got a good
best.
They've got a good quarterback. Although I thought Underwood would probably live up to bigger standards. I mean,
He is a true
he hasn't
freshman.
put up a lot of numbers, but in how much money you went out to go get the guy, I thought maybe he would probably perform a little bit better. Both games that they've lost, they were dominated at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah,
Dominated at Oklahoma.
and
they
Justice
were
Haynes did get
killed.
hurt.
that is not
And
against
then-
the wide receivers, though. That's against the offensive line.
Well, the
offensive
wide
line,
receivers haven't played good.
They
played
have
just
USC.
fine.
Against
They
Andrew
played
Marsh
just fine.
had a good game.
Andrew
Andrew
Marsh had
Marsh had a good
104
game.
yards and a touchdown.
How many
Donovan-
drops? I'm pretty sure Michigan leads at least the Big Ten in
Samaj
drops.
Morgan drops every pass that's thrown his way.
He drops.
It's horrible.
Samaj Morgan didn't get a lot of balls thrown to him last game. I don't know if there was any drops last week. I'm sure there was at least one. Michigan has struggled with in the drop category. But Donovan McCulley, he's been making insane catches all year. Andrew Marsh had 104 yards as a true freshman and touchdown.
I think it comes
against USC. And then, if you want to break it down even more, Michigan's a run-heavy offense. They run the ball 30 times a game at least. Bryce Underwood hasn't had a game or USC was his first game with 2 passing touchdowns. If you want to throw that against the receivers, you can, but it's not the receiver's fault. Now McCulley, he's been just fine. Andrew Marsh, just fine.
2 top, second and third best receivers in Michigan right
Best two. In
Nick
best
Marsh,
two.
baby.
Nick
Nick Marsh
Marsh.
hasn't been performing. I'll stand on that. I think Andrew Marsh and Donovan McCulley have a better season and have been playing better than Nick Marsh.
Nick Marsh, if you put Nick Marsh and Donovan McCulley in the same situation, Nick Marsh will be better every time.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree.
He's more talented.
I disagree. I think
And
that McCulley is better.
He's a better all-around receiver.
Were you surprised at all by the James Franklin firing?
we were going to get into that later in the segment. But, yeah, with Lou saying that, we want to get into the James Franklin firing. I think it was stupid. You can't. James Franklin has had back like 3 years in a row where he's been top of the country.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he has lost big games. I'll give him that. That was definitely a problem, and that was a concern. That's why they fired him. Just not just because of the last 2 games, but
For sure.
you can't. The last 2 games wasn't also just because of James Franklin. The defense gave up 40-something points to UCLA, which that's you can put that on James Franklin, but you can also put that on the defensive coordinator. Second off, Drew Aller is not built for the moment. Drew Aller sucks. Drew Aller, he's worse than Bo Pribula, and that was his backup. He doesn't perform. He has worse numbers in almost every category than Bo Pribula, who is his backup, and he just doesn't win. He's not a good quarterback whatsoever.
I'm not surprised they fired James Franklin.
I am.
I'm surprised, though, that they fired him mid-season.
I agree.
Especially with his contract. I think it's a $56
Yeah.
million
$50 million
buyout.
buyout.
That's
He's
a
worth
lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Especially having next move be going
And
towards
I
recruits.
never other than UCLA, I know he just praised them for changing coaches and changing culture, but I never, especially in college football, I never recommend firing a coach in the middle of a season like that.
Lost Northwestern, bro.
Listen, they
That's a
lost
bad loss.
Northwestern.
That's
It's a
a
bad loss. But also, other than this year, I'm pretty sure he's had a couple of 10-2 seasons.
Yeah.
He's like only gone 10-2 because he can't
He's
win
got
the big
Penn
games.
State's
Yeah.
got I want to say they're top 10 in win percentages in the last 5 years.
Penn State lost to Oregon. They've lost to UCLA.
Well, that was
They've
the other
lost
thing I was going to bring
Northwestern.
up, though. I'm not against them firing James Franklin. I think it was the right move.
I disagree.
He hasn't won
mid-season.
he wasn't a top 10. He hasn't beaten a AP top 10 team since 2016 when they beat Ohio
He
State.
beat them last year.
Who?
Boise State.
That was in the
Boise
playoffs. I'm
State.
talking about in the
Yeah.
regular season. He has not beat a AP top 10 team since 2016. That means not in this decade. He hasn't won any big games other than the Boise State game, which, I guess you can say was a big game.
Penn State versus Ashton Genty.
And
They
Ashton
beat
Genty
SMU
sucked.
in the playoffs last year. They beat Boise State, and then they played Notre Dame, and they lost to Notre Dame. Every time they go against teams that are potential upsets or, big games, they lose. And that is a problem, and it's a recurring problem. And when you see recurring problems on a football team, it unfortunately, it comes down to the head coach at the end of the day, because the head coach is the head of the snake. He's the leader of the team. The only problem I see for Penn State going forward is how it's going to affect their recruiting. It's going to shoot their recruiting.
Everybody decommitted already. They lost a lot.
Yeah, you just had 2-week portal, right?
Yeah, 2-week open portal because
Because he got fired, right? Coaching change.
Yep.
For a program, if you guys don't know, if a coach gets fired from a program, the players have 2 weeks to enter the portal if they want to, or they can stay. Getting into that, that's a huge problem for NIL. Not only just because he's gone, that's $56 million buyout.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot
of
of money, and they're already struggling as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Their program, they're gonna need a big change.
I
Big
think
change.
wherever James Franklin goes, he's gonna build a program.
Oh, he'll definitely be picked up.
Hopefully he comes
He
from
can be
Michigan
picked
State.
up easily. I don't want James.
Get rid of Jonathan Smith.
I don't even think it's Jonathan Smith's fault. I think it's the team we have. We need a better team.
Oh, you guys don't
I
recruit.
don't know, man. I
Yeah,
just
we
think-
don't recruit at all, which is the problem.
guys just-
Michigan goes out and spends $15 million on a guy who's mid and throws 5 touchdowns and 3 picks
$3 million
through
a
6
year.
games, and we don't recruit anybody.
No.
Your guys' number one linebacker or number one commit, Braylon Hodge, just decommitted.
Yeah.
He was a 4-star linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
And a 4-star receiver decommitted as well.
Did not know that, but Braylon Hodge, he is on Michigan's recruiting map. He has a visit upcoming. Going into flip season, who do you think are some big targets for some certain schools? Because I know you're an Alabama fan. I don't know if you say up to date with the recruiting, but
I'm not.
personally,
That's the one area where I'm not like.
me personally, I'm looking for Calvin Russell, 5-star receiver, Syracuse. Michigan and Syracuse were definitely the top options. And if you didn't know, he was also getting recruited for basketball, and Dusty May plays a part in that. So I think they could flip him if he wants to perform in basketball, because Michigan definitely is a better basketball school.
Michigan basketball will be good.
Yeah.
They just lose in East Lansing again.
Every
Not
time they go.
this year.
every
Not
year.
this year. But
Trey McKinney's already
You've got
lost in East
swept like the last 3 seasons?
besides that, this is college football. I want to see him get
Yeah,
flipped.
you don't want to go to basketball.
Yeah,
If we want to get into basketball, we can. We can do that next week.
No, you don't want to get into basketball.
Basketball's next week.
Michigan, you don't want to get into basketball.
I do want to
It's
get
over
into
for you.
basketball. All right.
Excellent.
We're going to cut it short here, guys. We want to say thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. Thank you to our co-hosts.
Austin Chapel.
And Lewandowski.
And thank you. Have a good week.